Okay, well, apologies in advance if my energy in this video comes off as a little bit chaotic. I'm getting married in 2 months and it's really exciting, very exciting. I actually can't wait. But it's also quite terrifying because there is so much left to do. We're doing a lot ourselves, and one of the things that I've been looking forward to making the most is all of the stationery bits and bobs that we'll need, because you know that that kind of thing is just my cup of tea. But I need to make and send these invitations out ASAP, like right now, immediately, preferably last week probably. So that's what I'm cracking on with today, breathe Minnie, and probably tomorrow and possibly the day after as well. Okay, so design-wise, I have some ideas already, probably too many ideas that I'll have to narrow down into something cohesive. But the things that I've seen just through looking at other invites and things, the things that I've seen and liked are textured paper, like a watercolor paper texture, or I really like the look of handmade paper. I love a raw deckled edge on the paper. Of course, gotta love botanical illustrations, and also that coupled with like a simple minimal typeface. Vellum, I like the look of vellum. Also maybe like a watercolory, splodgy, like pattern texture background thing. And you know that drawing buildings is my jam. It's also my bread and butter. And the building that we're getting married in is a lovely old one. So I would love to incorporate a drawing of that as well. Oh, and also I know most people are going to throw their invitations away. I honestly would just do a digital one. We actually sent our save the dates over WhatsApp to everyone, but I'm just so obsessed with beautiful, tangible paper crafts. I mean, making prints is literally what I do for a living, but I'm thinking if I can have the back of the invitations function as its own print, or at least something that people can keep and frame or just stick up on the fridge for a bit, that would be really nice as well. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else, but I should probably leave it at that for now. Those are the main things. I just need to figure out how I can make all that work and what I might have to not do to keep things simple. Like the interior of our venue has some gorgeous details as well that I would love to tie in somehow, like these beautiful blue tiles and all this stained wood, but I think that might end up being one thing too many. Our venue, by the way, is a local charity called the Employment Academy, and through the week they work to help people in our area find work and training, and then on the weekends they're open to hire for events, and all the money that they make from that goes back into their amazing services. So on top of being a beautiful and very old building and close enough for us to walk / stumble home drunk at the end of the night, it is really important to us that we're able to put money back into our local community as well. It's literally our dream venue. Need to remember to breathe. Okay, back to invitations. For the botanical aspect, the venue has a really nice courtyard with these lovely olive trees out there, which is something that I've already included in our save the dates, which you can see here. And the inspiration for these was this one that I found on Pinterest. And so I found a lovely old vintage public domain botanical poster of an olive branch. I deleted all of the extra bits and then I isolated the branch from the background. Then I added text behind it and erased parts of the branches to have the text showing through. I also sent it to my mum before sending it to anyone else, and she suggested lightening up the branch and background just so that the text would stand out a bit more and be easier to read. I'm trying to decide now if I want a watercolor illustration or an ink drawing of olive branches, because I think those would both look nice, and maybe a bit of both. I'm just going to sketch some ideas. Okay, bear with me. I know this doesn't look like a lot, But I've got the main invitation here with a sort of patterned vellum wrapped around it. I think the vellum would look best with a watercolour design on it. I've actually never printed on vellum before, so I'll have to see if this is even possible. And then to hold it all together, so that would be sealed up, wrapping around it, and to hold it together, I was either thinking a wax seal, which loads of people do, or a vintage stamp like something like this one or this one. But I would obviously customise it, make it myself, and have like our initials on there or something. And then these are all the ideas of different layouts of the text on the invitation next to or around what I think would be an ink drawing of the olive branches. I think all black and white maybe. And then this paper I think would be the one with the deckled edge if I do end up doing that. And over here is what I would put on the back of the invitation. That would be a full colour olive branch illustration. And then for the details card, maybe the same ink drawings that I could copy and paste from here and have in the background with a box in front full of the text, if that made any sense at all. Or just a plain piece of paper with an ink drawing of the building, all of the information written underneath, maybe a little sketch of an olive branch to tie it in with the rest. And then on the back of whatever I choose out of these would be the full illustration of the building. And then I'm not sure yet about the RSVP card. I could keep that quite simple because I'm not sending RSVP cards to everyone. Like anyone my age or younger is just going to get a link to our wedding website and they can respond online, and then parents, grandparents, etc., they will get a stamped envelope to send back the physical RSVPs. I think I've done enough talking. I'm feeling most confident about the building drawing, so I'm just going to get started with that. It's going to work in like postcard size, so around 4 by 6 inches, and we will go from there.
So hard to see from the moment we arrive. Cornelia, you are one who will survive. Don't mean a thing, what shape or form that you're in. The place you're from, your wealth or the color of your skin. When all you have burns to the sky, it's all too late when you wonder why. Cornelia, time's been bad. You put smiles on everyone. I think of you and of all that you have done. When all you have burns to the sky, it's all too late, and you wonder why. Cornelia.
Okay, happy with that. I'm really not sure about the rest. I've kind of gone off the idea of vellum. I'm not sure. I really don't know. I need to think. It's not a big deal. I don't know why I'm making it such a big deal, but it kind of is a big deal. Like it's like the first taste of the wedding that people are going to get. And I'm also sending my art to all of my friends and family, and I am very, very private with my art usually, despite me sharing it online for strangers. I actually didn't tell anyone that I had a YouTube channel or that I was sharing my art online for years. I feel sick. I am going to paint and draw some olive branches. I'm just going to see what I like and see what I can work with. Okay, voiceover time. Here I'm just experimenting with different olive designs, still not entirely sure what I'm doing, but just trying to get a feel for the kind of thing I might like, and also seeing what I can actually do with watercolours. So I started out by following a tutorial on YouTube, which I'll have linked below. I really recommend that you check it out. It was such a calming and mindful exercise and pretty simple to follow. And it actually reminded me of a couple of the watercolour exercises in my book, which is coming out in August. That sort of free and unconstrained feeling of creating, just seeing what you can do and enjoying it as you go and learning new things along the way. That was kind of the goal when I started working on my book. For people who want to create but don't know where to start, or people who are stuck in a rut or want to learn more creative skills and techniques in a way that's calm and fun and practical. And I will stop plugging my book now, but there will be a link below if you want to learn more about it. Pre-orders make a huge difference for first-time authors like me, so if you are at all interested, please do check it out. But I wrapped up this first batch of paintings just testing out how well the watercolour worked with pencils, seeing if I wanted to add outlines or shading, and it was a rough first attempt, but it really helped me get a feel for the kind of thing that I might be creating. Next, I wanted to lean into the watercolour splodge idea and see if I could get a nice effect with some negative space painting. As I was waiting for layers of paint to dry and using my hairdryer to speed things up, I kept thinking, what am I actually doing here? What is the plan? But sometimes when you've got no idea, the best thing to do is just keep doing something until the answer presents itself. I was also spending a lot of time talking back and forth with Ozzy, seeing what he liked and if he had any ideas, and in the meantime he was spending most of this day on the phone with different caterers because 2 months before the wedding we still hadn't sorted out food and things were getting a bit desperate. I think we only actually confirmed our catering a couple of weeks before the wedding, but it worked out perfectly in the end. The food was amazing, and as you can see, I wanted to look at ink drawings of olive branches as well, so I tried with both a fine liner and a ballpoint pen to see if either gave me the look that I was going for. The next day I came back with a much clearer idea of what I wanted to do. I think sleeping on it really helped. So I first tried to combine the fine liner with the watercolour, but I already knew straight after inking this that I wasn't keen on it. I decided to just finish it off anyway, just in case, because I always have these moments with a painting where I absolutely hate it and I think it's unsalvageable, and then if I push through and carry on, I mean, the worst that can happen is that it actually is terrible, but in most cases it just needs a bit more time. And even with the disastrous ones, once you know that there's no saving it, that's a great chance to just mess about and experiment, knowing that you're not going to ruin anything special. After the ink outlined one, I went back to the original idea with just a bit more of a clean and finished look and with a lot more leaves, and this was the one. I was also in love with this brush. I don't know why I had never used it before, but I think this was my first and second to last time ever using it, because I painted one of the wedding signs with it after this with a gold acrylic paint, and in the hectic pre-wedding madness I never rinsed it out, and now the bristles are completely solid. Anyway, that is it for voiceover Minnie. Back to the present day / April. Okay, this is where we're at. I actually started again on a different paper just because when I was using this smoother paper, the edges of the leaves just weren't coming out great. And here they've come out a lot smoother, but obviously this paper has a lot more texture, which might make things a little bit difficult with scanning and editing it. But because the paper I'm printing on has this kind of texture as well, hopefully that will be able to cover a multitude of sins. And then I printed just this text that I want to add and then just traced over it so that I could have more of a handwritten look. Also, in one of my experiments, I drew this little branch and I thought that might look nice as a sticker, so we will see. But now I need to scan everything in and then start figuring out the layout of everything, get everything in place and add text. I also need to figure out what the text is going to say because I have no idea what you're meant to write on a wedding invitation. The font that I used originally on the Save the Dates was called Powell Antique, and I think I'll go with something a bit cleaner, something similar, so still with that old like letterpress kind of look, just to keep that botanical poster theme. But the font that I use most in my everyday is either Garamond or Gentium Book, so I'll just see how those look. All right, I'm getting there slowly but surely. Just the text that I need to work on now. Still not 100% sure what I need to write, but I'm going to my mum's this evening for dinner anyway. It's 5 o'clock now, so I'm going to head over there. That's where my printer is as well, so I think I'll probably do a couple of test prints. My dad and my sister are going to be there as well, so I'll see if I can put a sort of proof together of the invitations and see what they think and see if they can flag anything that I need to add or take away, and I'll catch up with you guys when I'm ready to do the final print. I know I'm wearing the same clothes, but it is a few days later, I promise. I came round here on Friday and I did a few test prints with lots of different versions. So I did some with the deckled edge, I did some with rounded edges, square edges, different wording, different layouts of the actual olive branch print. And because my mum and my dad and my sister were here, I was able to show them all of the different options and got loads of different opinions on what people liked the most. So I really thought I wanted to do the deckled edge, but in reality, it just didn't have the look that I wanted. The rounded edges, however, looked great. So that is what I'm going for the main invitation and the RSVP card. The building print, which is also the details card, I'm going to keep the same because my mum said that people might want to frame that and it'll be easier to frame if it doesn't have rounded edges, and I think it'd be nice to have a bit of variation there. I also got to work on printing the little olive branch stickers, so I managed to get about 50 on one sheet of paper and just cut them out on my silhouette machine so that I can use those both to seal the vellum around the invitations and also maybe to seal the envelopes as well. For vellum, I actually don't have any, but I do have this really big, I have so many of these, massive pad of tracing paper, which more or less does the same thing, especially because I'm not going to be printing on it. I think I should be all right. I've tried having this with a deckled edge as well, or like just a torn edge, but I think I prefer it all a bit neater and cleaner, which is not what I expected to like, but I seem to be going for more of a finished look. So I'm back now, it is Tuesday, and I'm ready to go, I think. I've finally got all of the addresses. I need to get them all on Canva individually and lay out all of the individual postage labels and hope that putting envelopes through my printer is okay. I think I have all my envelopes, I haven't checked, but I do have a delivery and I think I have all my stamps. So I'm trying to figure out what I need to do first. There's a lot of printing to do and I feel like it's just gonna take forever. Yeah, I just need to get started. I think start printing and then I can be working on Canva in the background on the envelopes. All right, I've typed out all the addresses now, ready to print onto the envelopes, but the printer is still very much busy. I don't know how long this is going to take. I'm getting a bit worried now because I've only done the front portion of the main envelope. I need to do both sides of the details card and both sides of the RSVP. And then I have all of the envelopes to print on and all of the RSVP envelopes to print on as well with our return address. And it's 3 o'clock already, so I am now going to check the envelopes, check the stamps, and then cut down all the rest of the paper down to size for the 4x6 prints. I also need to prepare the quote-unquote vellum for wrapping everything up, and then I can maybe start rounding off some corners on the invitations that are done, but then I'm running out of things to do. I really need everything to be printed before I can carry on.
Just wanna dance, want a simple romance, nothing more, nothing less from you. Just stay the night, then you leave when it's like nothing wrong, it's alright with you. No ties, no price, no need, so free. I don't care what you say, what you do, how you feel, as long as you can show me a good time. I don't need promises, honestly, no big deal. As long as you can show me a good time, I don't care. Oh, 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 dinners and rings and the fanciest things couldn't make me believe in best, so don't you put pressure on me to give in to us. All I need is short-term devotion. I don't wanna be so emotional. Just wanna dance, want a simple romance. Nothing more, nothing less from you.
Right, you'll have to excuse the sound of my printer going in the background because I have to get on with this. I was here till about 8 o'clock last night and I honestly thought I would be done with this in a day. I think I underestimated just how many prints there were because there's 3 different things going into the envelopes, plus they're all double-sided, so it works out to like 270 to 300 different prints that I'm doing. And yeah, it's taken forever. Also didn't help that I printed this many spare invitations, and obviously it's better to have too many than too few, but this is way too many. This is way too many extras and just a huge waste of time and ink and paper. So that really held things up yesterday. But let me show you where I'm at as we start invitation printing day 2. So all of the main invitations are printed on both sides. That's great. I've cut down this spare paper that I had to 5x7 so that I could put it in the envelopes to hide all of our details because the envelopes are very see-through. I've got all my stamps here. These are all of the belly bands, I think they're called, that I'm going to wrap around all of the things to hold them together. And these are the stickers that I've made that will stick those shut. I also have another sheet of stickers here to seal the envelopes. Then envelopes here, need to print our address on these for the RSVPs, and then these are the larger envelopes that the invitations will go in, so I need to print people's addresses individually onto those and stick stamps on all of them. I also have these more sturdy envelopes. There's just 2 of those, and I'll stick the invitations in these for our 2 international guests. And over here I've just finished printing the details card. So those have just finished, and I just need to start setting up the print files for the RSVPs, and I'm just covering up our like wedding website information at the bottom there. But yeah, all of these are printed on the information side. I just need to print the design on the back of these now, and then it's just the envelopes and stuffing them all, and then I believe I'm done. And luckily there's a post box right outside my mum's house, so I should be good to send those off and head back home. So yeah, still a bit to do, and I can understand now why people say to go easy on the DIYs for a wedding. Like, I am desperate to get back to work. Luckily I can make a video out of this, and this eventually will become part of my work. But for people that don't do this kind of thing, and like obviously I have all the things because I make prints all the time. I have all the paper and the printer and the ink and stuff. Yeah, it's very time consuming, and I think in total I've spent £50 on this stuff and then another 70 on postage, so £120 for like custom invitations is not bad at all. So I'm very happy about the money that I've saved, and also the personal touch that this brings. Like, I'm really excited to see what people think. Yeah, I need to finish this today, like as soon as possible, and get back to normal work, normal life. And I need to get these sent out today so that hopefully they arrive before the weekend. Hopefully they'll arrive on the 15th. That will give people a month to RSVP, and then another month for me to chase people up for their RSVPs before the wedding.
And show me a good time. If I wanted more than this, I'd love you until I'm gone. But you only get a sip, so show me a good time. I don't care.
Okay, I'm still working on printing the RSVP envelopes, but I do have all of the guests' addresses printed on these envelopes, and this is a fake one. This isn't anyone's address. This is just so I could show you what the invitations look like on the outside. And I have these 2 which don't have addresses on because they're going into separate envelopes because they are going abroad. And my printer is still ticking away in the background, but I wanted to show you an example of how I plan on putting these together. So we'll have the invitation first, then the RSVP, and I will have to blur you a little bit here and there so I'm not giving away too much of my own information. But the RSVP I will tuck into an envelope with our address on, and normally I would have a stamp on this. For most of the RSVPs, I'll have a stamp on there so people can send it back. But with this one, I'm sending this to my nanny in Jamaica, and either she will have to use her own postage because one of my stamps won't work in Jamaica, or I'm actually going to tell her. I prepared a little note earlier just to let her know that she doesn't actually have to RSVP. I know she's coming, and she can WhatsApp me if she has any dietary requirements or anything like that. So just to save her the effort, but normally I would just have the RSVP card, the envelope that it can go back in, stamp on there, and I'll have it that way. And then next will be the details card, and then we'll have this along with a sticker to seal it all, and that is it. Oh, and then I need a piece of card to go on top of everything so that all my info isn't showing through the envelope. Then it can go in the envelope with the plain side facing outwards, so people still get something nice to see when they open it, and it's still see-through, but it at least doesn't have all our information on it. And then that side it's plain. Then once the envelope is sealed, I think I will do another sticker on the outside, and if this was addressed I would stick a stamp on it, and it would look something like that. But because this is going internationally, I'm also going to slip it into another envelope just to protect it a little bit more. Oh, it's so nerve-wracking knowing that this is actually going out now. And this is just one of my standard international labels that I print online just through our Royal Mail website. And that is it. That is the first invitation done and ready to go. And it might be a little waste of a stamp, but I want to show you how nice these envelopes look once they have a stamp on. You know, I think it just looks really nice. I would obviously prefer if the stamp colour matched the rest of the things, but I feel like it's not too far off. So yeah, I'm going to position you so that I can carry on doing this and not give away anyone's addresses, but this is the final stretch now. We are nearly done. So I finished that at about 3 p.m. that day and popped the invitations in a post box, and the next morning, the very next morning, we got our first RSVP from our friends Annie and Theo, so thank you guys. And over the next few days, some more of the physical RSVPs came back as well, and a lot more of the online ones. I also sent out the digital invitations for the evening guests who are invited from 8 p.m. onwards. I did that just through WhatsApp, just a digital copy of the invitation that I included all of the information on in like a text post underneath. But for the ceremony and dinner guests, also I know that this might be different in different cultures, but here in the UK it is very normal to have guests that you just invite for the party portion and like an evening round of food as well. So yeah, for the ceremony and dinner guests, we invited I think 82 people, maybe 80. I know there was 41 invitations. We are a couple of days over the RSVP deadline now. I've had to reach out to quite a few people to give them a nudge. We have just one left outstanding, and literally everyone is coming. I think there are 2 people that might not be able to make it, but people are excited. And in the first week or so, I honestly received more texts from people saying how much they like the invitations than I received actual RSVPs, which I can't really complain about. I really wanted them to be special and for people to know how special they were, at least to me. And I hope that that has come across. And I don't know if this necessarily turned out cheaper than buying invitations. I don't know if I've talked about costs yet, but I spent £73.78 on postage stamps, £12.70 on envelopes, and £36.57 on paper, and the rest of the stuff I already had. So in total that was about £123, or just £49 for the actual invitations if you don't count the stamps. So I mean, it's definitely cheaper than buying a bespoke suite of invitations like this, but there are a lot of amazing sellers on Etsy that can print and send some beautiful sets of invitations at a really decent price, or they can send you like a digital copy of it that you can print yourself, which is even cheaper. And I didn't really do this to save money. I just wanted to make these because this is what I do, this is what I love doing, and I wanted our wedding to have as many personal touches as I could cram in there. And I had lots of fun doing it. Anyway, by the time you see this, I will already be married. So let me know if you would like a video on all of the other things that we DIY'd for our wedding. But otherwise, thank you so much for joining me for this little part of it, and I will see you soon in the next video. Bye.